Hello there. Welcome to my show, COVID-19 Update by Heerak for January 17, 2021. Yeah, it's been 17 days since New Year started. And yeah, we have so many more days to go in this COVID-19 America in 2021. Thousands of Americans are dying every day. Unfortunately, thousands of Americans will die in the summer as well. Yeah, it's going to be a horrible, horrific 2021. So I'm sure many of you are very angry. Um, you're probably going through stages of grief, and one of the stages of grief is anger. So those of you who are 18 to 24 who are not married, this would have been the best time of your life. But now, you can't go out and have fun. You can't go out on dates. You can't even meet guys. Um, you may not get married. You may become a spinster the rest of your life. It's horrific time for those who are 18 to 24. You're going to miss out on so many things. You may never get married to the person that you could have married because of COVID-19. So it's tragedy, especially for 18 to 24-year-olds, I would say. Because if you're married, let's say you're 25 and you were smart enough to get married, when you're 18, you have two, three kids. You have a husband who loves you. If he loves you less, you could use your children as a bargaining tool or bribery to make sure he stays in line. Your life is, kind of good because you have your kids who loves you unconditionally. You have your husband you can manipulate with your children. You know what I'm saying? He gave you a ring. He's wearing that ring. He's a slave for life to you. um, but yeah, if you're married, yeah, your life, of course, there are things that you don't like about COVID-19, but it's not like you're going to lose out on 90% of things that make you happy in life, like single people in 18 to 24, single women who may never have marital conjugal bliss, which can make up over 90% of happiness. Love of children, love of husband, just the family life, the give and take of love. So, 2021 is really sad, but COVID-19 seems like it's going to be forever. I'm running for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th District, and the next election is November 8th, 2022, 2 years from now. And it's almost certain beyond the shadow of doubt that COVID-19 will kill thousands of people every day for 2,000 years. My bachelor's degree in medicine. Yeah, your bachelor's degree is worthless because in COVID-19 America, you can't get a job with your college degrees. Join the military, U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, U.S. Air Force. You have U.S. Marines, U.S. Space Force. Be a guardian, guardian of the galaxy. Yeah, those things will pay you a job. They're jobs, right? They'll pay you the moment you enlist in U.S. Army, and they'll teach you a skill. If you want to learn a skill, and you can use the skill even after you get out of the military to make money. So yeah, go to the Army, go to the Navy. Forget about college. College is useless, worthless in COVID-19 America. And COVID-19 America is forever. So, you figure maybe after five years, maybe 10 years, America will adapt. It'll take about 5 to 10 years for America to adapt. Unless China invades America, then we become a colony of China. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Yeah. But I'm trying out, Sam's Cola. Sam's Cola is pretty good. Sam's Diet Cola. No, I'm not kidding. It's pretty good. Um, um, it has a special taste, and I have to say, some people may like it better than Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi. I should do like a taste test with Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi, Diet Sam's Cola, you know, and other colas. But maybe another show. For this show, today is Judgment Day. That's like begging for it. And you see before you T2 Terminator 2 Judgment Day. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about Judgment Day, how could you not think about Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator 2 Judgment Day? If you haven't seen the movie Terminator 2 Judgment Day, you are missing out on life. A lot of gratuitous violence. Who doesn't like a lot of gratuitous violence in movies, geez, you go to the movies to watch violence. In a sense, it's better, right, to watch violence in movies than in real life, experience violence, right? They say, there may be a lot of violence on Inauguration Day. Who knows, I was talking with a buddy of mine at Virginia Hospital Center. I'm becoming friends with a lot of my coworkers, which is great. All of them are so nice. And we're talking about, Virginia Hospital Center is having this special deal where, you could go and you could be on call because I guess a lot of hospitals are anticipating potential violence and death. What they call mass casualty event on Inauguration Day. So, they're preparing in case millions of people die or something, around the country. Because, if there is violence, hopefully there won't be, but if there is violence and it becomes a populist movement, it's possible, thousands can die. It's possible tens of thousands can die. It's possible, hundreds of thousands can die. Obviously, violence will increase if there's police or military shooting. Whenever, because we all know what happened to Kent State. Anybody who studied labor movement, as you know, I'm a leader of the labor movement. I was a delegate for American Federation of Teachers, local chapter 6, Washington Teachers Union, to National AFT convention in Pittsburgh in 2018. 2020, they didn't have anything because of COVID. So the last convention, which was physically held in a place, I was a delegate, official elected delegate of Washington, D.C. Teachers Union, Local 6. Yeah, I'm Republican. I'm running as an independent now, but I've been a lifelong Republican. I'm very conservative. But, Republicans are, common sense, it's not like if you're Republican, you're anti-working class, most of the working class voted for Donald Trump. If it weren't for the votes of Donald Trump, working class, Donald Trump would not have become president in 2016. So, Republican Party is not, it's no longer the party of the elites, look at all the cyber elites attacking Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Republican Party now in 2021 is actually the party of the working class. And maybe the Democratic Party is the party of the elites, I think there are still working class people who vote Democrat, but more and more working class are voting for Republican candidates around the country in 50 states. So I don't think Ted Cruz is lying. I think he's actually accurate when he says, Republican Party is the party of the working class. I think that's true. And I think, Republican Party should reflect that. As you know, I'm running as an independent for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th District for 2022. So you can politically affiliate yourself with Heerak Christian Kim. You go visit my site on Federal Election Commission, FEC. It says no party affiliation. I am independent. You can affiliate with me, Heerak Christian Kim. Yeah, I'm my own party right now. By definition, party of Heerak Christian Kim. So become a member of the party of Heerak Christian Kim. I may eventually make a party. I don't know, if that's God's will. But your political affiliation to me is constitutionally protected. and federally protected. So yeah, yeah. So eat your heart out, Teen Man Joe Biden. I hate Joe Biden. What defines me is my hatred of Joe Biden. Uh, you know, I wouldn't want him to get COVID-19 and die because I wouldn't want that upon anyone. But if I were to wish that upon any human being, Joe Biden would be the first one. You know what I'm saying? That's how much I hate Joe Biden. Having said that, I like all people. So my hatred for Joe Biden should be seen through my love for all people. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's a contradiction, but it's a paradox. I'm just a loving person. What can I say? I just happen to hate Joe Biden, but I mean, if I see him, I'll be nice to him. Obviously, I'm polite and show Christian charity. But yeah, I hate the guy. I hate Joe Biden. I hate his guts. If Joe Biden paid me $1 million to work for him in a Secretary of State position, I wouldn't do it. So I hate the guy. Money isn't everything in life. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I like Donald Trump. I mean, I think he's a flawed guy in some sense. But who's not flawed? I'm flawed. You're flawed. Everybody's flawed. Uh, you know, um, but I like Donald Trump. I think he's a better president than Abraham Lincoln. I think he's better president than most presidents, including you know George W. Bush. Sorry, George, I like you, but I mean I like George W. Bush too. He's a likable guy. But I think Donald Trump is a better president than George W. Bush. I think Donald Trump is better president than. I'd honestly have to say Donald Trump is a better president than Ronald Reagan. Yeah, I mean, and I love Ronald Reagan. When Ronald Reagan was running for office, I remember, how how much everybody loved him. But yeah, I mean, he's a good president, but I don't think he's as good as Donald Trump. Um, I mean, it's not like, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't vote for Donald Trump. I didn't vote for Joe Biden. I just didn't vote. Man, I feel bad saying that because I'm running for U.S. Congressman versus 8th District, and I believe that you should vote. But I didn't vote for Donald Trump. And you can see the back episodes of why I did not vote for Donald Trump. I said I wouldn't vote for Donald Trump. I kept my word. Um, yeah, just go back to the episodes, watch this show, COVID-19 Update by Heerak, and watch the episodes and see why I did not vote for Joe Biden. Donald Trump. And Joe Biden, I hate the guy, so I'm not going to vote for him. No, I mean, okay, I do hate the guy. I don't want to lie to you because God knows my heart. But I don't hate him like, oh, I want to kill him, Joe Biden. I hate him like I disagree with everything he believes in. I disagree with everything he stands for. I disagree with the America that he wants to create. So when I say I hate Joe Biden, it's not like I want to kill Joe Biden. That's not the kind of hatred I'm talking about. When I say I hate Joe Biden, I just hate everything he stands for. I hate everything he does and what he stands for. That's what I hate. Yeah, so I guess like when I say I hate Joe Biden, it's not that I hate Joe Biden, the person. You know, I hate what he does, what he stands for, his value system. That's what I hate. Um, you know, I like Donald Trump. Personally, I think he's a likable guy. He's like, what you see is what you get. Joe Biden is like 40-year politician. He's like, who is real Joe Biden? Like, can the real Joe Biden stand up, please? You know what I'm saying? I hate Joe Biden. So I hope you share my hatred of Joe Biden because I don't want to be alone in hating Joe Biden. But I don't know. I don't get the feeling Ted Cruz hates Joe Biden that much. Um, but I'm sure in America, there are other people who hate Joe Biden just as much as I do. That's a very comforting thought. But as you know, I'm running against Don Beyer, who's a Democrat and an avid Joe Biden supporter. I actually like Don Beyer. I met him personally, and he seems like a nice guy, and I met him, and he actually was a really nice guy, so I like him. Obviously, I don't want him to win in 2020 because I want to win. So vote for me. Don't vote for Dan Beyer. But he's a likable guy. I can't lie to you. He's a likable guy. I mean, like I just met him and I liked him. He's a likable guy. Um, yeah, I see why a lot of people vote for him because he's a likable guy. But Joe Biden isn't a likable guy. you know what I'm saying? You know, I turn on the TV, I see him always shouting down like a union member on TV. Like, and this is on CNN, not Fox News. I'm like, what the hey, man? Why do you have to like mistreat all the union members? Maybe that's the reason why, Joe Biden rubs me the wrong way. Because I've seen so many different news at so many different times where he's screaming at like, working class union members. I'm like, what the hey, man? I'm like a member of the union, Washington Teachers Union, and I'm like, um, I stand for making sure working class people are treated fairly, they're paid fairly, and their families are fed. I mean, I care about these issues for the working class. So um, when I see Joe Biden screaming and yelling at all these working class people all the time, when I turn on TV, I'm like, man, it's like, what do you have to be like that with the working class, So that may be the reason why I hate Joe Biden. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it does leave a bad taste in your mouth when you see like Joe Biden screaming at like working class people. One episode I saw, like, I guess a working class person, union member, like he was at a union meeting, I think. One person, asked him about his son. Like, his son is like crooked, right? Does crooked things in Ukraine or whatever. Um, I'm sure there are a lot of honest people in Ukraine, but Joe Biden's son doesn't seem to be one of them. And I'm like, Americans have right to ask about corruption of elected officials, right? Because Joe Biden's son was making $200,000 a month doing nothing. Working class people are pissed off at that, and they're Democrats because it stands against everything that we stand for as union members. It's like that kind of do nothing and make money off the off the backs of hard working class people. So I could understand why union members would ask about that. It's not like he worked with his hands. He's like doing nothing and then he's making 200,000 a month. So I can understand why a lot of working class people hate Joe Biden. Um, so I'm sure, like, if you share hatred of Joe Biden that I have, you're probably working class, like union member, like me. Um, yeah, because why don't American citizens have the right to question why his son made $200,000 a month when he was doing nothing? I mean, I think American citizens have the right to question that. And Joe Biden getting all angry and yelling down people, it just impressed me as like a bully and a tyrant. He could have just gently and nicely explained the situation to union members, and then, maybe he would have had me at hello. What I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, that's so. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, I might have liked Joe Biden if he treated union members better. I just rubs me the wrong way the way he treats union members. So yeah, I mean, he's like particularly mean to union members for some reason. It's like he owns them or something. Yeah, I think that's the reason I hate him. I think one of the reasons. I don't know. A lot of things come together to like fuel my emotional aversion to Joe Biden. I just emotionally feel aversion to Joe Biden. He disgusts me. I mean, that may change. People change. They say hatred. There's a fine line between hatred and love. You like a girl who hates you may fall madly in love with you. I remember like Vicky Pure. She's really pretty. Like in high school, she's pretty, and she used to tease me, right? And I'm like, well, what's wrong with this girl? Why is she like teasing me? And one day in 10th grade, she wrote on my textbook. I cover my textbook with like paper to cover the, I don't know if you do that, but like, it's a school textbook. So you cover it, to protect the binding or whatever. And she wrote on my textbook cover, You scotch tape it and everything for the ear. And she wrote on there, "I love you." I don't know if Vicky Pure remembers. Hi, Vicky. She's really pretty. And I was like, is she like making fun of me? I didn't know what to think, in 10th grade, when she wrote that. Um, I was heavily into Taekwondo in 10th grade. I could literally fly in 10th grade with a kick. I remember like one time Scott Meekly was joking around with me and he was like really making fun of me for some reason. And I just wanted to show him what I could do. So I can control my kicks like to an inch at that time, not anymore. But when I was in 10th grade, I was really into Taekwondo. I was being trained by Grandmaster Hong. He was like a 6th degree black belt, and his whole brothers, all the brothers, like black belts. Uh, and he's like Grandmaster Hong. So he trained me 1-to-1 like Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi. But he was a young guy. He was like in his 30s or 40s, and he was a drunk. How like all these kung fu fighters they get drunk all the time, like drunken master technique, drunken master kung fu. I don't know if you've seen drunken master kung fu, but it's funny as heck. They get drunk and they do kung fu, and it's called drunken master kung fu because they're drunk and they're kung fu masters. Anyway, he liked to drink a lot, and he was always drunk. But then he became Christian, and he came to my dad's church, and I guess he was gratitude for his salvation, and to my father, the senior pastor, he trained me in Taekwondo 1-on-1 for free. I guess that's like his way of showing my dad how much he appreciates his sermons. And my dad's sermons like 3 hours long. His sermons are very detailed and long. But anyway, so Grandmaster Hong taught me 1-to-1 like Karate Kid, and he wasn't nothing like Mr. Miyagi. Like Mr. Miyagi like buys Ralph Macchio a car. He didn't buy me a car. You know what I mean? And he did none of these wax on, wax off. He did like traditional, straightforward Taekwondo stuff, but he trained me 1-on-1. And I got to be so good. Uh, and he used this shoe. I'm like, what's up with that Grandmaster Hong? He used this shoe and it's like rubber shoes. I don't know. I'm like, can you afford like Nike Air or something? He had these like dorky Bobo shoes. And he would raise the shoe and I said, kick that thing. I'm like, what? Kick that little shoe? And he would raise it higher and higher and higher, like way above his head. I'm like, he's like, kick that shoe. And I have to kick that shoe. Like this, it's like he has small feet. He's like a Korean guy. He's thin, short, small feet, probably like 8 or 9 size. So you're trying to kick this shoe from his hand. He's holding it. So like 1/3 of the shoe is held by his hand. And I'm like, oh man, I have to kick that shoe. And maybe that was his, wax on, wax off. Kick my shoe. Kick my shoe. But anyway, so I remember, but my kicks became so controlled I could like stop it like within an inch. So Scott Meekly, I wanted to show him what I could do because I trained like for hours, with this Grandmaster Hong. So so I just like, and I wanted to show him like a really cool kick. So I did a kick. I think I did a roundhouse kick. It was a while ago. Roundhouse kick is like you're standing like this, and then you turn, and then you bring your right leg. So this is my right leg. Oh, this is my wait. Video camera is like a little bit. So this is my right hand, but it's on your left side. Huh. So I better use this. No, it's hard. So yeah. So you bring you have your 2 feet. You bring your right foot all the way around, and then you kick. So you're like going 360 degrees. So you start from here, you turn around, and then you go 360 degrees, and then your kick comes and hit the opponent 360 degrees later. So that's like really cool kick, I have to say, because you have a 360 degree turning momentum. I guess it's called the centripetal force and centripetal. There's physics to the all of this, right? So you are turning and you're using body weight and you're throwing your body weight in that circular motion to turn 360 degrees, and then you're bringing your feet around, so there's even greater force, and then you kick, and you could kill somebody with that kick. And in Olympics, I've actually, in one of the Olympics, a while ago, I remember somebody using that kick, and that one kick knocked the guy out, and I think he died from brain hemorrhage. One kick, you get hit by that one kick, like on your head, like, yeah, a lot of people die. That's like a very powerful kick because of the physical force of the 360-degree turn. So, and sometimes you jump up. You jump and you turn and kick. Yeah, I didn't jump with Scott because it's hard to control the kick if you jump. But when you're standing on with one foot on the ground, you can control the kick. So I did that, and I stopped my foot like within like 2 inches or maybe 1 inch from his face. So it's like, really fast, So that shocked the Scott. Hi, Scott Meekley. He's an emergency medicine doctor in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Yeah, so he's a good doctor. I remember when he was in high school, he was like a volunteer fireman. He was in EMT. Like, I'm like, what the heck, man? When do you find the time to do other things? So, both of the activities are volunteer. Where do you get the money, dude? And he's like, he wanted to be a medical doctor. So, but yeah, I'm sure he's an awesome emergency doctor. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So after that, like, and nobody messed with me. It was during gym class. I didn't hit him or anything. So it was just, I just showed him what I could do. But yeah, martial arts, it's a scary thing. I never had to use it on anybody. Thank God. I might be in jail if I used it and somebody died. Because I think uh, in self-defense, if you kick somebody on self-defense and they die, it's like, manslaughter. Involuntary. Well, it's not involuntary because you kick the guy. I guess it's voluntary manslaughter. But yeah, I'm glad that I didn't use it. Um, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I would have used it if somebody had a knife or a gun or whatever attacked me, but that didn't happen. So I didn't have to use it. When I was growing up, because I grew up in a very rough neighborhood, in an African American neighborhood, but it became like kind of Hispanic. So you had like Hispanic gangs, Puerto Rican gangs, and then it became Vietnamese. So you had like Vietnamese gangs, and then for some reason we didn't really have a Korean gang. So all the Koreans were scared of like all these gangs, Vietnamese gangs, Puerto Rican gangs, and black gangs. Like all over the neighborhood. Yeah, but anyway, I got along with all the factions, thankfully, and I didn't have to use anything. I mean, a lot of people died in my neighborhood. I thank God I didn't die. You know what I mean? Oh man, yeah. When I got accepted to the University of Pennsylvania from my neighborhood, I was the only one, like for like 10 years or so, who got accepted. Yeah, it's a pretty rough neighborhood. People get killed all the time. Gang violence. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Yes, I learned martial arts, and I'm gonna make sure all of my kids, all of my boys learn martial art. Um, the reason I don't want to teach a woman martial art because he can, he can like negatively impact her figure, and I don't want to. I mean, if she wants to do it, she can do it, but women value their figure. Um, so, you know, yeah, I probably will not. I'll force all my boys to learn it, but my daughters, I probably will not. Because figures are important. Like when they want to get married, I want them to have maximum opportunity to get the guy they want. Beautiful figure matters. Speaking as a guy, I know. So, I mean, sometimes a woman's figure is a deal breaker. I know this because I'm a guy and I know how guys are. And I want her to be happy, and she will be unhappy if she can't marry the guy that she loves. She can't have the guy she wants. And a lot of it's like that for guys too, and that's tragedy when you can't have the guy you want, or a girl cannot have the guy that she wants, or a guy cannot have the girl that he wants. It's tragic. Um, yeah, I speak as a poet. As you know, I write love poetry, and for me, love is special. And I write about it in poetry. So yeah, that's why I say it's tragedy when you can't have the woman you love if you're a guy, or if you're a girl, you can't have the guy that you love. I think that's like, for me, that's like the greatest tragedy in the world. But not everybody agree with that. I'm a poet, so I think that's the greatest tragedy. Uh, like men, when they're in love, they don't care about death. They care about their love. That's why we have so much tragedy. Maybe that's the problem. You have Romeo and Juliet. You know, case in point, right? Um, yeah, but anyway, going back to Judgment Day, if you haven't seen the movie Terminator 2 Judgment Day, you should see it. It's a great movie. Oh my gosh, it's a good movie. I think there's a video game out too, right? Terminator Day. I don't know. I don't really play too many video games, but um, I did when I was younger. But I mean, it takes up so much time. Once you get hooked on it, it's like time flies. You get nothing else done. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. But anyway, yeah, check it out. Terminator. Today is Judgment Day. I don't know who comes up with these days. Is that like a officially certified Judgment Day? Is that today? But anyway, yeah, enjoy the movie though. Um, Today is Sunday, as you know. Uh, the day that the Lord has made. You know the song. If you went to Sunday school, you know the song. This is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. As you know, I'm an elementary school teacher. No, we didn't sing this at Savoy Elementary School, though. Mrs. Johnson, she always went around telling everybody to go to church. I like Mrs. Johnson. you know, oh, she was telling everybody to go to church. I like doing math class. And, she was our math supervisor. I was a fifth grade teacher, and she taught all the math teachers. I supervised them. She's like, you know, she's the kind of like a nursing unit manager. She was a math manager, and she'd be going around telling all the kids to go to church. I like her. I really like her. But anyway, um, yeah. Hi, Mrs. Johnson. She's probably watching this show. Um, so yeah, going back to today. 2,122 people have been reported to have died by Sunday. So some people are going to report it later, or maybe tomorrow, or maybe Monday, Tuesday, because tomorrow's a holiday. So, Martin Luther King Day. Yeah. But, one of the greatest things that I enjoy about being a candidate for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th District, it's like when I campaign, I sometimes hit the campaign trail as I did on the photos there. I go and, shake a lot of hands, you know, I even hug dogs and babies, you know what you do in a campaign trail, right? Uh, and people like me, they know I'm running for U.S. Congress, and they like, they tell me like issues that they face. I feel like a psychologist when I'm running for U.S. Congress and I talk to people, because there are people who have issues that they want to discuss. They want things that they want change. So they'll share like their own personal experiences and their views, and then they want you to hear their side of the story and what they want from their congressman. Um, so I'm glad that they see me as someone who can help them. because I do want to help them. I don't believe the liberal media. Liberal media is always like spread out liberal lies. They're not really interested in helping people. But I am interested in helping people. So you see all these people. Some of you who live in Fairfax County may know them. I was campaigning in Fairfax County. So this is during one campaign episode, like one day. I met all these people in one day. One day of political campaigning. Yeah, a lot of nice people. Yeah, I met many more than that, but I can't squeeze all the photos into that. So I just have some photos. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to campaigning and meeting a lot of people, the next 2 years. I don't know if I can campaign this COVID-19 America, it stinks because I love talking to people, meeting people, campaigning. So it stinks that next 2 years we're going to have COVID kill like thousands every day. I mean, yeah, because, I could have been campaigning whenever I had free time. I could just go campaign, door to door, talk to people and stuff. Um, collect 1,000 signatures. When you run as an independent, you gotta collect 1,000 signatures. Um, yeah, but what can you do? COVID-19, you can't go door to door and knock and go into people's homes. In COVID-19 America, and they're going to be issuing an executive order to stay at home sometime in the near future. So you know what I mean? Um, Yeah, so right now, 397,494 people have died, and 23,923,474 people have got infected. So that's less than 30% of America. Um, yeah, so we're never going to develop herd immunity because it's not killing enough Americans per day to develop herd immunity. Black Death was killing 10,000 people per day in every city. So it's like 10,000 people dying in New York, 10,000 people dying in LA. Unless you have something like at that rate, you're not going to have herd immunity develop. So throw that idea out that you're going to get a herd immunity, because unless you're looking at 10,000 people dying in every major city in America, we're never going to get herd immunity. Herd immunity doesn't happen out of the blue. There's you know, death. Yeah, I mean, as some people would call collateral damage. We are in Pentagon City area. So yeah, collateral damage, is like 10,000 people dying per day. Without that quote collateral damage, you're not going to have herd immunity. Yeah, so throw out your idea this COVID-19 is forever. It's going to kill enough to make everybody scared, but not enough to develop herd immunity. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's going to continue forever at this rate, unless something changes and 10,000 people start dying in New York, 10,000 people start dying in LA. I mean, that could happen, If that happens, yeah, herd immunity can happen. But, after millions of Americans have died, obviously. Yeah. So let's look at Europe. Top 5 Europe, Russia. See, Russia has kind of gone into the bad side of this fate. Look at their death. Now Russia is at 2%. I mean, it's just as bad as other European countries. Yeah, Russia is a tragedy story. You went from negligible death to death that's almost matching France. Yeah, it's bad. Russia is number 1 in terms of cases, and 64,601 people have died. Probably millions are going to die in Russia in 2021 at that rate. United Kingdom is number 2 in terms of cases. Death is number 1. Look how many people have died in United Kingdom compared to Italy. Just like last week, Italy was number 1. Last week or 2 weeks ago, Italy was number 1 for death. And look, United Kingdom took off. That's because of all those, vaccinations. I think that lowers your immune system. If it lowers your immune system, then you can easily get COVID or something else and die. Obviously, this is only recording COVID-19 death. So yeah, I didn't take a vaccine, and I'm not going to take a vaccine because it's experimental. And I think COVID vaccines actually lower your immune system, weakens it. So that's what I think happens. Um, so I don't want to compromise my immune system because I need my immune system to survive COVID-19. Um, Obviously, like even if you have a strong immune system, if you're like, not social distancing and not wearing a mask, then you could get COVID. You know what I'm saying? It's possible. Um, it happens. Um, but if you are social distancing and wearing a mask and being very careful, a strong immune system will protect you from an infection. Because obviously, your immune system has to go down for it to infect you. See what I'm saying? Um, yeah. It's like any infection, there's infection is infection. Um, yeah, so France is number 3 with 70,422. Turkey is number 4 with 23,997. Best record so far. Um, Italy is 82,177. So Italy is no longer number 1 for COVID-19 death in Europe. United Kingdom is. The country that is most aggressive with vaccination has the most number of deaths. Coincidence? Perhaps. Correlation? Certainly. Yeah, there's a correlation there. Country that is vaccinating the most has the most number of deaths. There is a correlation. I am saying there could be cause and effect, but certainly everybody has to agree that there's a correlation, right? America, which is vaccinating the most, has the most number of deaths. In Europe, United Kingdom, which is vaccinating the most, has the most number of deaths. Coincidence? I mean, I think not. I think not. That's why I'm not taking the vaccine. Yeah. I mean, if you have too many coincidences, it's no longer coincidence, but it's a pattern. You see what I'm saying? Yes. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Oh. So, yeah. And look at all those Santa Clauses. They seem like they're enjoying themselves. Yeah, that was yesterday. Today, no longer. Yeah, Ohio has 2 new COVID mutants. Yeah, America is headed to massive COVID-19 death. Your vaccines are not going to work because mutants are going to develop constantly. Even if your vaccine is working now, let's pretend that, because who knows, maybe there is a Santa Claus and maybe Santa Claus does fly. So let's pretend that your vaccine works for the sake of argument. It's not going to be able to block out all the COVID variants. No, it's not. So the question is cost benefit analysis. What's the cost? What's the benefit? You got to do one of these, Let's go to the article. First one. Ohio researchers in Ohio said Wednesday that they've discovered 2 new variants of the coronavirus that likely originated in the US. One of which it quickly became the dominant strain in Columbus, Ohio, over a 3-week period in the December and early January. One of the new strains found in just 1 patient in Ohio contains a mutation identical to new dominant variants in the UK, researchers said. However, the Columbus strain, which the research said in a press release has become dominant in the city of Columbus. This is in Ohio. Includes 3 other gene mutations not previously seen in SARS-CoV-2. They're completely new. That's happening right now as we speak. It could be happening in all 50 states in different areas of COVID. The minutes kill COVID. Your vaccine is not going to work, certainly in the long run, but probably in the short run because of all these mutations. Science cannot keep up with all these proliferating mutations. Like when you have hundreds of thousands of Americans getting COVID, their virus is mutating in the process of all these infections. Vaccines cannot keep up. They cannot. Science cannot keep up. So if the vaccine, the virus remain same, and that's not going to happen, but if it's remained same, then I mean you may be able to see like COVID vaccine developing and working, right? But it's not seasonal. It's 365 days a year. It's infecting what, hundreds of thousands every day in America. So it's mutating at a lightning speed. Science just cannot keep up right now. It can't. Unfortunately, it can't keep up. So everything becomes obsolete. It's kind of like, you buy a computer and then they come up with a better computer. And in 1 year, your computer is obsolete. You know how that happens? Now multiply that by like million, Yeah, things become obsolete after a few days, at the rate that COVID is infecting people. Yeah, so it's unfortunate, but it's true. And the government is trying to, hide it. The liberal media is trying to hide it, Yeah, I mean, I believe in vaccines, but we don't have like 400,000 people getting measles every day. You see what I'm saying? That kind of infection doesn't happen. If it happened, maybe measles vaccine would become useless. If that kind of infection happened, prolonged for like a year, maybe measles vaccines would not work either. Yeah, but that's not happening with measles. You see what I'm saying? But it's happening with COVID. That's why, I believe in vaccines and I encourage you to get them. But COVID-19 vaccine is another thing. It's a completely different matter. We cannot group them together. That would just be dishonest. So continuing on in the article, we know this shift didn't come from either UK or South African branches of the virus. So now we have different branches of the virus. We have the South African branch of the virus. We have the UK branch of the virus. Now we have this Ohio branch of the virus. So think of it this way. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. On the sixth day, God created Adam. And then out of Adam, God created Eve. So you had Adam and Eve, just two human beings. They procreated. And eventually, you had the black race, Asian race, and the white race. And Hispanic race. Hispanics are kind of like Asians. Ooh, excuse-moi. Excusez-moi. But, excuse-moi. So now, around the world, you have people of all different shades, even in Asia, you have different shades of Asians. Now, there's diversity because time has passed. In the same way, COVID-19 is like that. There's so much diversity, you can no longer say COVID-19 is just this. You see what I'm saying? COVID-19 isn't just white. COVID-19 is just black. COVID-19 is just an Asian. There's a lot of things, There are different COVIDs. Every COVID-19 is an individual and should be treated as an individual, not just homogenized and stereotyped. So stereotyping COVID-19 no longer works because there's so much diversity in COVID-19. Yeah, that's why, any vaccine that tries to say, oh yeah, all Koreans are this way, all black people are this way, all white people are this way, that kind of strategy is not going to work. And that's the strategy that like current COVID-19 vaccine is using. That's why it's not going to work. It's just not the real world. in the real world, even in the Black community, you have diversity. In the white community, you have diversity. In the Asian community, you have diversity. It's not all the same. Um, Second article, nearly 80 additional deaths overnight. So the Ohio Department of Health has released the coronavirus numbers for Saturday. So that was yesterday. As of January 16th, a total of 821,507 or plus 7,065 cases have been recorded in Ohio since the pandemic began, leading to 10,135. So Ohio had fewer than Virginia, and now Ohio has twice the death as Virginia. You know why? Because colleges and more importantly, public schools open. As you know, I'm Heerak Christian Kim, candidate for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th District. I fought for 3 months to close Arlington Public Schools, Alexandria City Public Schools, Fairfax County Public Schools, Falls Church Public Schools, and they all closed. That's what the difference that makes. So, you all owe me in Virginia's 8th District. You owe me because I closed down Virginia's 8th District. That's why we don't have like 10,000 deaths like Ohio. And it says 241 hospitalizations. And currently, there were 43,048 hospitalizations. On Sunday, Ohio reached the green milestone. 10,000 people in the state have died from COVID-19. There are people dying from COVID-19 every day in our hospitals. Yeah. About Fairfax Hospital, about Alexandria Hospital, MedStar Georgetown Hospital. You have people dying every day, practically every day. You average them out, it's like every day. Yeah, it's bad. It's getting worse. Nurses are going to die. A lot of nurses are going to die. There's no doubt about it. And that's the tragedy. I want to do a cheer for my Georgetown University people because 25 of us graduated on August 24, 2020, and none of them asked for COVID, but they got it. And some of them are going to die from it. CNL, 2020, yay! You may die from COVID. You may die from a COVID infection as a nurse. You may die from a COVID. You may die from a COVID infection as a nurse. But at least you can say you died a Hoya nurse. Yay! Yeah, we gotta celebrate what you can celebrate. Life is too short to like mope and dope, and just kind of go, getting sad and depressed. Life is too short to get sad and depressed. Yeah. So yeah. So we gotta celebrate what we have done, and hold on to things that are beautiful in life. Harry's like deep. That's very deep. Yeah. So in Ohio, we have 10,057 deaths. Oh, no, 10,135 deaths. Yeah, that's a lot of deaths. Yeah, so it's increasing. So let's move on to the next article. Ohio researchers developed new strain of COVID-19, or discover. How tragic. How tragic is that? So many people are going to die in America in 2021. As you know, I'm predicting that over 3 million Americans will die. Because if you have 60,000 people die in every state, that's like 3 million. And that's going to happen. Sad, but it's going to happen. Yeah. Because, if you open your public schools like an idiot, why don't you think that there will be infection spreading? It's a people-to-people virus, right? More stuff you open, more people are going to get infected. That's just the way it works with COVID-19. If you isolate yourself in your home, that's the best way to survive COVID. Let's go to the third article. Ohio researchers discover new strain of COVID-19. And it's by Carter Evans. Let's look at the quote there. Researchers at Ohio State University discovered a new variant that carries a mutation identical to the strain found in the UK, but was likely already present in the US. What does that mean to you? There are variants, COVID mutants that are already here that are waiting to be discovered. And they're infecting you right now. And you're telling me the vaccine is going to work when there are all these COVID mutants everywhere that have not been discovered yet, spreading everywhere? God knows when Ohio's COVID mutant started or came into existence. We just discovered it now. That's what the article is saying, right? Let's read the article again. Researchers at Ohio State University discovered the new variant that carries a mutation identical to the strain found in the UK, but was likely already present in the US. The dangerous strain from the UK has been detected in 11 states. Yeah, so now it's like up to 11 states, quickly spreading. Researchers said they also found another US strain with 3 other gene mutations. Geez. I mean, how many variants, mutants do you think there are in America? It could be millions, you know that? It could be thousands, it could be dozens, it could be hundreds, but it could also be millions. Because look at all the infections. COVID can mutate in different ways. Yeah, I mean, geez. It's tragedy right now because there is no end in sight. They keep saying it's going to get worse before it gets better. What's your definition of worse? You know what I mean? Because maybe you will not see it get better in your lifetime, or maybe you'll die before it becomes better. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, to continue on with the article, the strain with 3 new mutations was more prominent in Columbus. Yeah, cities is where that happens because cities, you have a lot of people. Yeah, you may have a COVID mutant in suburbs, but it's going to be rare. It's going to be mostly in cities. The strain with 3 new mutations was more prominent in Columbus in recent weeks. They said more infections, making it easier for the virus to pass from person to person. This is why I'm saying close your schools down. There are idiotic colleges that are opening up in spring semester. Yeah, that's like infection waiting to happen. Infection waiting to happen. It's like you're daring fate to take your life. That's not equivalent to what opening colleges is. It's the stupidest thing you can do in a COVID-19 America because you're guaranteeing spikes in infection in the city where the colleges are. Yeah. I wish I could give you better news, but there really isn't really better news right now. So I can only give you factual news, I don't want to lie to you because you deserve the truth. A lot of people are dying. That's the truth. Yeah. But I hope that you'll be well and that your family will be well too. And I will come tomorrow to give you more information in COVID-19 and how you and your children can survive it. So tune in tomorrow. See you later, alligator.